The night was heavy with silence, the kind of silence that makes even the crickets hold their breath. A young girl, barely stepping into the edge of womanhood, sat trembling on a worn wooden porch under the weight of a sky filled with stars. She had been told that her life would change tonight, that she was to be given away like a fragile possession, a transaction sealed not with love, but with fear and desperation. Her hands shook as she clutched the hem of her faded dress, her heart pounding against the cage of her chest. In the distance, a figure appeared, tall, broad, and casting a shadow far larger than any man should. The giant cowboy had come for her, and though the world whispered that this was her fate, she had no idea that the truth about him, about who he really was, would shatter everything she thought she knew. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of truth to transform lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel, The Gentle Truth. Your support helps us bring more heart-touching stories to light. The cowboy was a man of silence, his boots heavy on the dirt, his hat shadowing his eyes, and his frame so immense it seemed to swallow the night. The townsfolk feared him. They spoke of him in whispers, telling tales of violence, of secrets buried in the desert, of debts settled in ways too cruel to repeat. For the young bride, his very presence felt like a storm rolling over her fragile existence. She had been raised in poverty, her parents broken by years of hardship, and she was given away not out of malice but as a desperate grasp for survival. She was told that the giant cowboy could provide what her family never could: shelter, food, a name. Yet as she was placed into his care, the weight of his shadow threatened to swallow what little light she still clung to. Days passed in silence. The cowboy said little, his deep voice rumbling only when necessary. He worked the ranch tirelessly, his massive hands gripping tools with the strength of a man who had fought both earth and beast for survival. The girl watched from a distance, caught between terror and curiosity. For though his presence was fierce, she noticed something in his eyes when he thought no one was looking. An emptiness, a wound deeper than any visible scar. Still, she could not bring herself to approach him, for the world had told her that giants do not bend and men like him do not weep. But the truth began to unravel in subtle ways. One evening she discovered him by the barn, his head bowed low, his shoulders shaking in quiet sobs. In his massive hands he clutched a locket, its silver frame dulled with age. Inside was the picture of a woman, gentle and smiling, holding a child who bore his strong jawline. They were gone now, claimed by tragedy, and the giant cowboy had been left with nothing but silence and the cruel whispers of a town that painted him a monster. He was not the villain she had been told about. He was a man destroyed by grief, a man trying to bury his brokenness beneath the weight of labor and solitude. As the young bride pieced together fragments of his past, her fear slowly gave way to understanding. He had not wanted her, had not asked for her hand, and in truth the marriage was nothing more than an arrangement forced upon him as much as it was upon her. He treated her with distance, not cruelty, never raising a hand, never raising his voice. He slept in the barn most nights, leaving her the house, as though he feared breaking her fragile spirit with his presence. She began to see that he was not a monster, but a man imprisoned by grief, and for the first time she felt pity instead of fear. Their bond grew not through passion, but through small acts of humanity. He repaired the holes in her shoes without a word, left wildflowers on the kitchen table after his long rides, and once, when she fell ill, stayed awake by her side for 3 nights straight, tending to her with the gentleness of a man who knew too well the pain of losing someone. In those moments she saw the truth in his silence, that beneath the shadow of his frame was a heart still capable of kindness, still aching for redemption. But the town did not forget its whispers. When others came prying, spreading lies about the girl's safety, the cowboy stood taller than ever, protecting her not with anger but with unwavering resolve. He declared that she would never again be a pawn, never again be treated as a possession, and though he still carried the weight of his past, he had found in her not a bride forced upon him, but a reason to rise from the ashes of his grief. By the time she had grown into herself, no longer a frightened girl but a woman with strength and voice, she realized that the truth had not shattered her, it had set her free. The giant cowboy was not her captor, not her villain, but the man who had taught her that even in the harshest of worlds, gentleness could survive within the most unexpected of hearts. If this story has touched your heart, Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to The Gentle Truth. Your support helps us continue bringing real, emotional, and inspiring stories to life. Our special request: comment "Gentleness survives" below if you believe love and kindness can grow even in the harshest places.